All right, hey folks, we are heading into the last chapters. Now, there's a bonus chapter at the end of the book. I'm not going to go through all the bonus stuff. That's going over like metrics and all those things. We're not going to do that. We're just going to go over the last parts of it, which is the close. Now, before we get into any of this stuff, one thing that Kevin and I want to talk to you about or offer to you, we're working on kind of a reflection sheet, like a activity sheet. So once you're done, it's kind of asking you, did you set up a blog and little things like that, just to see if you've learned the things you wanted to learn and if you had any problems setting stuff up, if you have any additional questions. What we'll do is give you we'll share it here soon and give you at least 2 weeks to fill that out. And if you fill it out and send it back to either Kevin or I, if you don't feel comfortable with me reading it, I completely understand. Well, send it to Kevin, or if you want to send it to both of us, or whatever you want to do. But if you fill it out and send it to one of us, within the next 2 weeks, we'll do a happy hour just for you guys. So that way you can come, we can talk about the book a little bit, have wherever you want to do it, pizza, beer, whatever, burgers, whatever you feel the mood for. We can even take a survey, so whatever you want to do. You see me at Mully's a lot, so I always pull for Mully's. That's some good stuff there too. But whatever you want to do, we want to get an opportunity to face-to-face, meet some people, see what you liked about the book, ideas for the next book and things like that. So see that coming. It's on the way, and if nobody fills it out, then just Kevin and I will go out and get some beers and take some pictures and show you that we had a good time without you. So whatever you want to do. Any case, here we are, last couple of chapters. We have chapter 13. Chapter 13, he talks about being sure that as you talk, as you close, or getting close to closing, that you talk about all the benefits. When you work with me, we're going to do this for you. We're going to do that, which is helping you meet this goal. And we've already talked to you about the goals. You already dug deep. You already asked them all these things. You already have all the notes in front of you. So you know that when you talk about your benefits, they're very specific to what your client is looking for. Here's what our company can do for you. Don't overpromise. Here's some of the features that I think you're really going to like when it comes time to list your house or when it comes time to go out and start looking for homes to purchase. And then the tie down. Do you think that will work for you? Is this something that will really achieve your goal? And then obviously these are softball. These are definitely answers you're going to get yes for because they are in line with these people and what they're trying to do and the goals they're trying to meet. So you want a softball tie down. And as you feel, he says, as you feel like you're getting close to that sale, as you've gone through a whole spiel, as you asked them all the questions, as you dug deep, and you're ready for the close, his thing is you want to do something like, all right, here's what we do next. You don't do an open-ended question. You don't ask them how they feel about it. You say, this is our next step. Are we ready for the next step? This is what we do. And in his line of work, it was more like, here's the next thing we do. We need your credit card to blah, 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 blah. In our line of work, it's more of a, this is what we do next. We have to sign a seller agreement, and the seller agreement won't hold you to this, or it holds you for 2 weeks, or whatever your agreements are for your seller listings, for example. So that way they can envision themselves working with you, and they can picture it all, and you're being very clear, helping them meet their goals, etc., etc. He also advises that you don't save those worst features until last. Have a couple in your back pocket that just in case, they're like, I'm still not on board. Oh, all right, that's fine. Did we talk to you about the fact that we do these Facebook posts that draw about 4,000 people to them, and we can use these same posts to create open house flyers? Well, we talked about that, and that seems to meet your goal of this, this, and this. So leave some of those in the back pockets in case you need a little bit of help closing on the end of that, okay? Chapter 14, again, he emphasizes, and these chapters, as you know, are short, and they move pretty quickly, which is why we left them for a group of them at last. No open-ended stuff. What do you think? How do you feel about this? Because you're going to get answers that aren't very helpful at closing a deal. You're going to get a bunch of general answers, and you're not going to get any closer. And the worst part is when you have those open-ended questions and they go on, it might make for kind of an awkward situation there because they give you a feelings answer. You're like, all right, what do I do now? But if you go to this is what we do next, that's a definite, this is what we're doing. You're still controlling the conversation. So no open-ended stuff. And then you continue on to that. You know, we're going to go to this. Once you have this, what we're doing next, we're going to provide you with this, we're going to provide you with this, and be sure you cover the cost as well. Make sure they're still on board with the cost of things. Now, as you know, maybe commissions for us in our line of work, that's still, it's 6% cost for a listing, and we're going to do this, that, and the other thing for you. We're ready to set this thing up, and this is our next step, all right? So be sure you keep closing as you give them information, as you continue to give them benefits, but no open-ended stuff. And then as you do that closing statement, this is what we do next. The reaction he talks about is going to be one of two things. Either they're, yep, okay, we're good to go. Let's sign this stuff. We're all set, which is the answer we want. Or they might have some more questions and objections, and that's why you kind of keep this back pocket thing in case they have a couple more questions or a couple more things they have to deal with. But that closing statement really gives you a feeling of like, we're ready to go, we're ready to close this thing, or I have to go through my benefits and things one more time just to make sure that they understand and that they're buying into what I'm trying to sell to them. Okay. And then he talks about the slot close. So once you get through those and you've handed their questions or objections one last time, we have a couple of like straight, very easy yes, no type answers. All right, now that we've gone over that benefit one more time, that's definitely something that goes along with your goal of blah, 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 blah. Am I correct? Yes. Okay, good. Then you reclose on them. You say the thing over again. Good, that's great. So this is what we do next. And of course, you don't want to say this is what we do next like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, but you may want to rephrase a little bit. But we're always looking to close. You're always looking for that next statement of the next action, and rephrase it and mix it up a little bit. Now, the last thing he says is make sure you don't just close and hang up. He's got so many agents, he said, or trainees, that once they close, they're like, oh, great, let's sign this paperwork, and we'll see you later. That's not really what you want to do, because, again, it makes like an awkward, well, he just sold me, and it makes people feel like you just kind of, not really tricked them, but you sold them. You weren't interested in them, and that's all. We're interested in what they are, what they need. So once you get that closed, and once you get the credit card or the email or the listing paperwork, ask a couple more questions. You know, all right, so we had this thing set up with CSS. Which kind of email would you like to use through CSS? You know, ask them a few more questions. Make sure they're understanding things. Explain some of the more terms now that they've signed things or gave the email or whatnot. Continue that conversation. Continue to dig deeper. Don't just say, cool, thanks for the email, talk to you later, because that's not going to work, right? Good, so that's 13, 14, and 15. So moving along. He moves into 16, and it's very close to his ARP. He also has ARC because he's in love with acronyms. He certainly loves it. Almost every chapter has some kind of acronym in there somewhere. So ARC is another one, and ARC is the Acknowledge, Respond, Close. So if you're still having kind of a hard time getting them on board, you do the Acknowledge. Oh, so you're still curious about the pricing strategy, or you still want to know about the 6% commission on a sale. You acknowledge what they're asking, acknowledge their objections, and then you respond. Well, you know, the 6% closing is because we do this and that and the other thing, and we do this and this and this. Hey, any questions about the rest of that listing paperwork? You just close. Always closing. Acknowledge, respond, and then close. All right? And then if he has a no, and it's like he says, it's definitely true that some people are just going to be sold. They're just going to keep telling you no. They're just going to keep telling no. Keep telling you no. Keep telling you no. Over and over again, kind of like me in high school, you know, just always knows, always knows. And then he says, all right, that's fine. You know, I'm acknowledge the no, and we're going to do follow-up. Is there a time I can check in back with you? Can I check in 2 weeks? Or I'm going to check in with you at the end of the month, or I'm going to do this, blah, 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 blah. And there's other things you can do, too. You can say, that's great, a no's fine. Hey, you know, by the way, we're doing an open house on this house, or we are doing a buyer seminar coming up here soon. Invite them to things as well. Give them opportunities to kind of meet you and see you as well. So, because we're always out and about in the community. So don't just take the no. Try to set up a follow-up. Try to set a time up to maybe meet them or invite them to an event, a public event, so they don't feel like it's high pressure or anything. But keep an open mind for those no's. And then if you have the yes, which is where we're all shooting for, all right, this is next. You get down the information, or you take down their email, or whatever you're going to do. Review the benefits one more time of all the different things that you're going to provide to them and the reason why they said yes. A phrase I put on there, it wasn't in the chapter, but a phrase that I've always lived by is under promise and over produce. So if you have in your pitch that you talk about 1, 2, 3 things, once you review, once you have that yes, you know, go over 5 things you're going to do. These are 6 things you're going to do. Oh, I didn't even talk to you about this. I'm going to definitely do this and this for you. Or we're going to print out this. We're going to do these flyers. You know, under promise in your pitch and then over produce so they're even more excited about saying yes to you. And then, of course, at the end, send a thank you. Again, it's the coming back to not just hang up the phone. Thanks for the email. I'll get a hold of you sometime. Send him a thank you card. He's got a couple of websites that he uses. Like Bondco is one. Send out cards is another one. Or just handwrite one and send it to him, depending how many clients you have, how many people you talk to. And there's a lot of different things like sending chocolates or a card or whatever. But do something to follow up with, like, hey, I cared. That was a great conversation, and I appreciate your time. People love that little things like that. And then, of course, moving on to finish it up, chapter 18 is the next lead. I don't want to really just jump on the next lead right away, of course. You can't just say, thanks for the email, I'm going to send you a thank you card. Do you know anybody else? You probably want to have a good experience with them first. But always look for that next lead. Always, hey, do you know someone else? Or little things like that. Hey, we're having an open house. You know anybody else would like to come, or anybody else in that price range? Hey, we're doing a buyer seminar, man. Bring a friend and we'll blah, 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 blah. Always look for that next person, the next lead, invite them. But don't seem like you're like chasing after them either. And of course, try to capture ratings. I see a lot of agents that take that Zillow and they take the picture of their Zillow reviews and they post them all over the place. You can do that if you want to. Some people do. Some people are waiting for the clients to see it. I would prefer personally, hey, we got a lot of Zillow reviews if you want to check them out. And here you go, that's fine. I don't do as many postings to brag about how great or not great I am, but capture ratings is a great idea. And of course, just come right out and ask for referrals. Obviously, you want to do that right after you close. You're going to want to give yourself a little bit of time. Maybe follow back up later or after the sale happens or whatnot, ask for referrals. And you can come right out and just say, how did things go? Excellent. If you know anybody else, certainly let me know. We can help them out too. And he finishes the whole book by don't skip steps. Of course he's going to say that because he just spent a whole book telling you about the steps, but it's true. Don't skip the steps. And sometimes it's really easy to do. Like if you know somebody and you've known them for a long time and you feel really casual, don't skip the steps for many reasons. One is these steps help you remember things. It helps you dig deep and know what that person's looking for. Even if it's a friend you've known for 20 years, you still want to know what they're looking for. You still want to know what they need and how they're going to buy and so on and so forth. And secondly, like just getting into the routine, just doing it over and over again is great practice. So if you skip it one time, it might be tougher to get back in the routine for the next one. Or if you've got a lot of warm leads, it's sometimes tough to get in and out of a certain routine. So just do it all the time. Do these strategies, practice these strategies quite frequently. And then what I always like to do, actually I feel there's a little extra pressure for people because those are the ones you really need to do a little more for. Not just the cold leads that you do with this and this and this, but the people you have to go above and beyond. They need to feel extra special because those are the people that are going to be referring you out to other people because they're friends, they're warm markets, they're people that like you. So you got to go a little above and beyond for them anyway. So anyway, hopefully you like the books. We're going to do another one at some point. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of a break. We're going to get some feedback, we hope, from people if they like the blog, the video format. We're going to do the activity. We'll send out your way, and we'll probably email it and put it on the website and the Facebook group site and on the blog and anywhere else we can put it. So we want to be sure you have opportunities to ask questions, to interact, to try some of these things out. And if you want to send it to us to check it out, I can do that. If you don't feel comfortable with me doing it, I'm sure Kevin will look at your blogs or look at whatever. So keep an eye out for the activity. We hope a lot of you fill it out, and we hope we have an opportunity to sit down and do a little happy hour and see everybody because it's easy in this industry to be stuck behind a computer and not meet people face to face. So hopefully everybody takes advantage. Hope you enjoyed the book, and keep a lookout for our next book, which will be probably not for like 3 or 4 weeks, but it'll come out soon. So thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you soon.